The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buff Sound Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. The Pistons are the worst POD or team in the 313, losing a record 27 consecutive games. No, I did not misspeak. The Pistons have lost 27 consecutive games and have the longest losing streak in NBA history. I think actually the Phillies did something with 28, so I think we're pretty close to it. But Connie, I think you brought up in the chat 32 consecutive losses moving back towards last season. So absolutely incredible. Talk to us about we'll start with Valley. He's first on my screen. Talk to us about the roller coaster that is this season. It's mostly been downhill.
Yeah, not much of a roller coaster. Other than I guess we started pretty dang high. Especially for a guy that predicted 50 wins, I guess we started like really, really, really high up. Really long roller coaster. You know, you're getting your money's worth on this one. Just a long downward trajectory.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we were at this ball game, and I was sitting there just kind of unamused the whole time. You know, even when we snuck in some leads, even that lead we had in the fourth quarter. My reactions didn't change. I knew it was coming. It was a loss. I was anticipating a double-digit loss. Shout out to Alec Burke. He tried his best for that, but that didn't come. But it's kind of just been instilled in me. Like every time I watch this team, I'm just like expecting a loss. You know, I'm just waiting for that moment. We go down, we take that timeout, and we're never gonna be close to this team ever again. Um, Therefore, this moment doesn't hit me significantly as hard. Just because it's just been this, like I said, like the roller coaster's getting boring now. Like we've been going down too long. Like get me off of this thing. I'm just kind of used to it. But when you're looking at it as a whole, I'm like, of course, Jesus Christ, this is the most disappointing thing ever, man. I remember this game with the streak started at like 4, 5, 6 games. We lost in a row. I'm like, all right, surely we're gonna win the next one. We're a pretty decent team. You know, I kept telling myself we're a decent team. But as we keep on going, I keep coming to the realization that we're not a decent team, and it's making me really sad, and it's making me sad watching these ball games right now.
Yeah, you guys were at the game. What was the atmosphere like? I'm reading stuff everywhere that it was electric in there.
It was electric in there. That team, the Detroit got out, man. Michigan got out for their team. It sounded like a playoff game in there. Connie, I don't know what you thought.
I mean, we don't know what playoff games sound like, but I was high energy. That the crowd really did not want that streak to go. They were fully behind that team. Those little runs, that did happen. There were a couple streaks where it's like, whoa, this actually does kind of look good. Like some back-to-back threes, a little stop, and some plays where the Pistons did push a 1-point lead down the stretch in the fourth quarter, and they did look sort of like a team that was not going to collapse in on itself.
And then Alec Burke stepped on the court.
And then Alec Burke stepped on the court. At first, I thought it was just like Alec Burks. He's just having a rough shooting season, and he's gonna find out. He's gonna like climb out of it just in the law of averages. But it seems like the longer this season goes on, like the worse he's playing, and he's playing like just losing basketball. Like the last night, one of the last plays of the game that was deciding was an Alec Burks basically over two guys from a couple feet behind the arc, chucked up a three-pointer off an inbounds play.
There are reports that play was actually for Cade. Alec Burks called an audible.
Was for Cade to get a three-pointer in the corner, and Alec Burks did called his own number and tossed it. And I think also it was Alec Burks who, that game too, oh my God, the Nets were trying to help us end that streak. They were missing, we were trying to play the fouling game, and the Nets were missing every single free throw. And another Mikal Bridges 0 for 2. I think the ball goes to Burks. He tries to outlet to Ivy, and he just
and it just goes out of bounds. I literally started shaking my head after that one.
It is something like I truly appreciate about this losing streak is the Pistons have found a way to lose in like a lot of different ways. You know, you talk about a good team, you talk about like they can win in a lot of different ways. the Pistons can lose in a lot of different ways, and they've shown it throughout. Like recently, it's been like the starters play well and our bench sucks, but it's been throughout where like the bench is good sometimes. Different guys can have like all right games and someone else is letting down. Everybody's had an opportunity to lose us a game so far in this streak, and
Yeah, real team effort.
real team effort. Yeah, we can get it everywhere any given night, but it feels like we've settled in a little bit now.
Yeah, I think we finally hit our stride. I think we're in a good rhythm right now. So I think
Starters,
things are going smoothly.
like the starters play it sort of even.
Mhm.
Bench comes in, and it's some of the worst basketball that you could ever watch ever in your life. Like it's truly like you put five strangers out there to play against the other team, and it's awful. It's really
Yeah.
just
I
basketball.
think that's the most glaring thing. Like every time Knox and Wiseman checked in together that last game, there's like an audible groan from the entire crowd, and like we're like, all right, we're up. What we're up? We're up like 3, and then
It
we're like,
was
all
up
right,
no, it was 77-76.
and we're
Those
like,
two.
mark that score. There's 3 minutes into the quarter, and we're down like 6 by the end of the quarter.
I
Oh
mean,
man,
Knox
it's just
hasn't been
terrible to
that bad.
watch.
He's at least making shots. Isaiah Livers had a stretch of like 0 for 14 on triples. So
Did
at least Knox can make a shot.
did Knox make a shot?
Yeah, I think he made 2 threes that I can think of off the top of my head.
But he's just like, it's just like he's not a good basketball player. Don't get me started. And then
Yeah.
another
What?
terrible thing, the insistence on the two bigs lineup. So even though we have Stewart and Duran, there still is a necessity for Wiseman then, just because of the way Monty fails these rotations. There's times when Ivy and Kate are both off the court. There's times when Duran and Stewart are both off the court. Like, I don't know why he seems to be the only person who doesn't like recognize that. Like,
Yeah.
I
There's
know
There's no
it's the first year of his contract and all, but this guy stinks.
any other coach, any other situation would not have his job anymore. If this was like a normal coach hire, if we went out and we hired Kevin Ollie for $3 million a year, and he's in the same situation, we're 2-28, we're on a 27-game losing streak, he's gone. He's no longer coaching this team. But because Monty Williams is making $80 million, and they're going to have to pay that one way or the other, they've kind of like stuck themselves with this, and there's not really any change unless they recognize a sunk cost and they go for a change. Monty Williams is protected by his humongous salary.
Yeah, but okay, so two-party question here. So does that mean you guys, if you had to place your blame on somebody, you're blaming the coach? Second part of that question is, if we move on from Monty Williams, is there someone else that you would rather have in mind, or are you just saying move him out and get anybody in here?
I think generally in NBA, if a team goes wrong, it's a 3-step planning process. First guy who gets fired is the coach. If that doesn't work, next guy to get fired is the front office. If that doesn't work, you blow up the team. And unfortunately, the Pistons are locked into this first step. Like, if it's right or not, that is the step that is taken. Like, that is the first step in a shakeup is you get rid of the coach. And then after that, you can like decide, was it the coach's fault? Was it the system? Can things be changed? Or is it more a fundamental, is there a more fundamental problem what we have going on? But we can't find that out because we're just in this locked into this Monty situation. And like
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, it's obviously, like you said, it's easier to blame the coach or the front office because it's easier to fire a coach or a general manager than it is to turn over your entire roster, right? And then, another thing is I saw a tweet. I think Nerlens Noel tweeted it, and he said, Detroit lets a lot of BS go on that shouldn't be going on. Like, that's a former player, a former vet, saying that this team lets stuff go on. Like, what's going on? What is like
The
we've
leash
been
is too long for players like Killian and Wiseman. I
that's
think
a
that's
good
a
point.
concern. But then again, I mean, Monty, like you said, Connie, every piece he has to move is covered in diarrhea, except for Cade. I think this is a huge failure on Weaver's part. I was a fan of Weaver. I like the draft choices he made, but the free agency, I guess that's like his part, and then just like the bad trades of like acquiring bigs who can't play and guards who can't shoot. It's just there's no roster. There's no roster for Monty to do anything with. Monty has absolutely no desire to try anything new. Unless Cade becomes like enraged, drops like 55, we probably still lose by 10, but that's our only hope.
But Cade had 41 points on 70% shooting. Like that's Cade Rage. That's like the best possible game getting out of Cade. He was a mid-range operator. Every time he got the ball, something good happened. But
I guess let's transition into that. We've been crapping on the team. Let's highlight Cade Cunningham. He has been like the last, I don't know, since around the Atlanta game where he dropped, I think, 43. He's flipped the switch. You know, and I think I forget who I was where I was watching. I think it was on Locked On Pistons or something. He was doing a lot of in and outs again and all that kind of stuff. He kind of looked like Cade from his rookie season. So maybe he's figured himself out again.
he's also just pulling that mid ranger now. There's like no hesitation. He's like, if there's not a dude directly in front of me, this mid ranger's going up. If you're on my tail, it doesn't matter. This mid ranger's going up, and he's hitting them because that's his shot. Now Cade seems like really like masterfully in control of what he's doing right now. The turnovers are down, the shooting percentages are up. If one thing that has like been confirmed to me in this losing streak is that I was losing some hope in that Cade Cunningham was actually like a really good player, but I'm pretty confident Cade Cunningham is a really good player, and the team just sucks butts around him.
I was gonna say the same. I feel like we're on the fence on a lot of things. Like we never commit to something that we say. You know, like
This is true.
Say Cade's a superstar, and they're like, oh no, he's not. Trey Cade. I don't know. I certainly am. Have said stuff like that, but you're right, Connie. After the stretch of games, I can confidently say it's not Cade's fault. And the cutting down on the turnovers, I think, is what's almost most impressive to me. But when you look at his last 5 games, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 58% field goal percentage, and 41% 3-point percentage. Like those are all-star numbers, and those are more than all-star numbers. Those are elite numbers. And he's just been there.
Turnover numbers.
Scouting reports are on him all the time, but he's finding a way to adjust. And the key has been the mid-range game. He was in a role last time out, starting that second half, and it seems to come in spurts. Second halves, almost in particular, where he becomes unguardable from the mid-range at moments. He hit some contested ones last time out in the second half explosion. So I think the mid-range has been the key. It's been opening up for him. And obviously getting Bogey back and now having Duren back has also helped him.
You have the turnover numbers for the last 5 games.
3.1.
All right, 2-to-1 assist to turnover as the number one guy. That's good. Like that's a fine ratio right there.
Down from what was it? What was it, like 5.2 before or something outrageous?
He's going pretty even assist to turnovers. It was really like every Cade possession in that fourth quarter looked good, other than that one where he ran it out of bounds. I'm pretty sure, but he ran it out of bounds. And then like every time Cade didn't have the ball in his hands, it was like Ivy clanking a mid ranger, Alec Burks throwing up some bullshit. They were using Bogey a really lot on ball. I know Gabe did not like that. You can talk about that if you want to, Gabe. Bring the ball up with Bogey, and it's just like nothing was working except for when Cade had the ball in his hands, and for some reason they just didn't hammer Cade with the ball in his hands. But
yeah, you mentioned it, Connie. I told you like 3 times last game. There's no point to have Bogey on ball. First of all, he doesn't have the tightest handle. He got stripped a few times, but then it's the exact same thing. It's like Cade with no spacing. You put our one spacer on the ball, and everyone just collapses. Like, what's he gonna do? Pass to Jaden Ivey, who was horrible these past games. It's just, I don't know. Like Valley said at the start, I have no hope anymore for like a win for anything.
Uh,
Like a trade, like what's a trade going to change? I mean, we can talk about like what's the route out of here. We talked about is Monty the problem, is Weaver the problem? I think they both are, but think and like you said, those targets at the start, I think we're also interested in Siakam, which I would again would not be a fan of. Another guy who needs the ball and is just not a spacer. But like I think we just need the number one pick and just to hit on a guy. That's really the only hope. Like we need that Anthony Edwards type of pick. That's really like
There's not enough on this team right now for a trade, I think, to make a significant difference.
no, there's not. I wanted to touch on a couple of things before we move into the trade stuff, though. Number one, did you guys feel like Jaden Ivey was hesitant to take the mid-range shot late in that game? I feel like there were 2 or 3 times he had a shot, but he hesitated, and then one of the times he shot it, he just like overthought it and just overcooked it. Did you guys notice that too? It was just me.
yeah. And the other time he got blocked.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
And then what was the other thing? I forget the second one. The third one was I think like I don't remember if it's happened once or twice. I know it happened at the beginning of one of the games. I think it was the Nets game. We ran a bogey post up to start the game and he turned the ball over. Like it's not like it was like tight defense or anything. He was literally backing down his man. His man backed up on him and he was anticipating contact. It didn't happen and he lost the ball. Like these are like little mistakes that cannot be happening, especially from your vet. So yeah, those were just the things I wanted to pick on. But yeah, going back to your point, I don't think Siakam's the guy. One name that has been thrown out, and it has been thrown out ever since Troy kind of took over. OG Anunoby. How would you guys feel about adding him to this team? Not that we would be able to with the pieces we have, but say we like overpay him like $40 million, something or other.
Free agency?
Yeah.
I'm all in for that.
Great ad.
Yeah,
I think like if you look at the list of free agents, there's no like A1 guy. And I think I've been convinced Cade is that guy, but he's not like he's more Jason Tatum than Kevin Durant. Like and if we get OG, I think OG is a better player than Pascal, like for winning basketball. He's just exactly what we need. A spacer, a shooter, a defender. And like we have a lot of money, you know. You may as well throw it at him, throw everything you can at him. And then down the line, I don't know, trade him if you need be.
And let's not get into that, man.
Like I think we just need to overpay for talent.
I mean, we're Detroit. We kind of have to at this point. We've always had to. Like the only way we got Blake Griffin is because we got him through a trade when the Clippers didn't want him anymore, and we got like 1.5 good seasons out of him, right? Like, how else are you gonna get a guy? And the problem now, we don't even have pieces to make a trade. We don't even have our own first to make a trade. No one's gonna. I mean, are you willing to part with Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, or Asar Thompson to get that next piece?
Yeah.
You know,
Jaden Ivey.
I am willing to part with one of any of those guys.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I don't want to. Like these are the guys. I mean, for Jalen Duren, I would be less willing. But like,
That's fair.
I think of the order, it would be J.I., Duren, and then Asar for me.
Willingness, like
yeah.
least willing.
Yeah,
Okay.
most willing with J.I., but
Really?
just like the guys that get a lot of minutes on this team lose 27 straight games. Like,
to be fair, our starters have been decent for like the past, like 10 games or so now, and it's
like
just
the last game, every starter was 19 points or more except for Asar Thompson. I think it was something crazy like that. We were all in double digits.
Game, I don't know. Like when I've been watching Ivy recently, it seems like he plays completely without a plan of what he's gonna do. He just kind of like takes it. He tries to like sprint into the middle of the court. He's falling down. I feel like more than ever before. I don't know if he's got to change his shoes out or something. Those middies like being hesitant. That's because he didn't think that like he doesn't know what the shot should be. that he's trying to go for, right? Like I don't know if he has a plan when he does things. He just kind of does things and something ends up with it. And a lot of times that's like why we get turnovers or bad late game possession. And
I read something on Twitter. If you guys can look this stat up as we're talking, let me know if you can. But who do you guys know who has the most points per possession in the NBA this season? It's Jaden Ivey.
Is it really?
Yeah, I read that he's got like 1.6 something points per possession this season. I think it's in isolations, but he only gets 0.6 possessions of isolation per game. I don't remember where I saw that, but I know I saw that. Like it just blows my mind that like how that's happening. And like the plays that I'm thinking, like there are times where like I think John Collins got switched out onto him. He literally just took one dribble, was by him, and scooped it up and in. Like there's times that he can do those things, and then there's times like we were just talking about where he's hesitant or he overcooks a little midi. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like the shots that this team misses in the clutch just don't make sense.
I think that's what's most frustrating is we see it in flashes with Ivy, and that stat just confirms it. Like he is in an elite category at moments. And I think that's why there's so much frustration with Monty Williams. He's not getting the most out of Jaden Ivey. There clearly has to be a way to get the most out of him. Casey did a really good job of getting a lot out of Jaden Ivey, especially towards the tail end of last season. And the question is, how can we do that again? And Monty Williams has not been prioritizing that whatsoever. When perhaps he should have been. And he seems to be learning from that mistake. And I'm seeing more and more Ivy utilization every single game. The game to set the record against Brooklyn, I thought he was really bad against, but there's been more light from Jaden Ivey, and I'm hoping for more and more usage rate out of him. But that's been the frustrating part is we haven't been able to utilize his elite talent, which is his speed. He's the fastest guy in the NBA probably. But I'm hoping we can start using that asset he has more.
Yeah, I want to speak on that real quick. I see on Reddit pretty often like people want to use Cade as like a Devin Booker type, not like always have the ball in his hands. And like we saw, especially towards the end of last year, Jaden Ivey was a really good like pick and roll partner with JD, especially with the spacing Bowie and Cade could provide. Like that's another obvious thing. Like why don't we just do that more? Like I don't recall last game that there's a single like pick and roll between JD and Ivy. And it's like, that's like you said, Valley. He's a fast guy. He's a great passer. He doesn't always know what he's doing, but he's still like because he's an insane like rim pressure guy. Even if he doesn't always make the right read out of it, more often than not, I think he would. And I mean, it's just another thing to try. Like, why not? Let him have some more on-ball opportunities. It's not like we can go wrong from here.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go but up, but we still find a way to go lower. Like it's crazy.
At this day, you're saying he's averaging 1.63 points per possession in isolation, but averages 0.6 possessions per game in isolation. I feel like that's backed up sort of by the eye test. I think it's small sample size. Like the isolations he gets is when he's sort of like just like matching up with the guy and like one or two times like a game he'll just like run past him and he'll get a layup. I think that's small sample size because if he did it more, defenses would be more tuned into it. So I mean, he's obviously not a 1.63 point per possession guy in isolation because that's like far better than Kevin Durant, and I mean nobody is that. But I wouldn't mind seeing some more JV. But at the same time, when he does like, he's had some real stinkers, some real bad games where he just plays poor offensive basketball, and it's like you say more Ivy possessions, but it feels like a lot less of them are ending in passes or ending in playmaking, and a lot more of them are ending in a Jaden Ivey forced shot.
Yeah, I think it's also because he's not in rhythm. Because he's just like left out of possessions by being off ball in the corner, which we all know it doesn't work.
And then he's just trying to get his when he has the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that happens to Bogey as well. He'll just take some bad shots sometimes, and like he hasn't shot in like 5 possessions. He's like, oh, why not? And it's usually a brick. Let Let me ask, what's the most positive thing you've seen, or like it could be a play, a whole game, just from like the last, I don't know, 27 games.
I mean, it's what Cade Cunningham does. Is
Yeah.
when Cade Cunningham gets the screen, has the guy on his hip, and hits the mid-range jump shot with one dude behind him, one dude in front of him, and it swishes down perfectly because he just takes it. Like it's him getting into the paint, having the big guy on his hip, and now he has this new thing where he just like goes for the standing, just reverse layup to the other side of the basket, and he's got his body in the way of the big man. He's got the rim in the way of the big man. He takes this really high off the backboard reverse that all of a sudden is going in now that didn't go in before. It's when he fucking just like fires the pass to the wide open shooter. It's like Cade, man. That's the bright spot. It's Cade Cunningham, and then I don't know. Sasser had that one good game. That was pretty cool.
Thompson's poster on Capella and Miles Turner. Those were fun.
That was good.
Killian Hayes found his right hand. I think that's interesting.
Oh, the Jalen
Where
Chicago.
where did Killian find his right hand?
Yeah.
He drives right now. He goes
In
right.
the dumpster.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, you walked me into that one, man. Yeah.
Right.
What was the other? Oh, Stu. Stu can shoot a little bit. Stu's like 4 for 5 performance, I think, a few games ago where he couldn't miss from the top side against the Nets when we were in Brooklyn.
Stu has been good. What do you guys think of that? Like the Stu has interest around the league with some like contending teams.
Yeah.
How you guys feel about that?
Exactly what I said. Stewart would be an extremely valuable player on a team where he has to do nothing but shoot threes in the corner, occasionally rebound, and play defense.
So do we move him, or do we say we need that player in the future and keep him?
We need that player in the future. Like, you have nobody right now. And Stu is one of 2 guys that you could, or 3, possibly 4, that you could see on this team in the future once we develop or once we find better players. I think you need Stu. Like, if you trade Stu, what are you going to get? Right,
More
that's the question.
late first, early second round picks. Like they're gonna turn into something, or they're gonna turn into nothing. I would keep Stu.
I would.
I would
Yeah.
keep him as well. And also just like he's from like a non-shooter to like a legit 3-point
Yeah.
shooter in like 2 years, pretty much. That's pretty nice. I don't think he'll ever become a creator, but I'm excited to see like he's the one guy who who I think like I'm excited to see new things from him every year.
I think there's gonna be a point where he is no longer on this Pistons team, and he starts really getting appreciated. If Stu lands on a good team, he's gonna start really getting appreciated.
Like Bruce Brown.
Yeah, like Bruce Brown. Yeah, no, actually though, like on a team that like uses Stu correctly, and by uses Stu correctly, I mean uses Stu a lot less. Use him in a PJ Tucker type role. Like literally, if he was on that 2017 Rockets team, that's where Stu belongs. Just stand there and wait for Harden to dribble through his legs. You guys know who the G League Coach of the Month was?
The
Coach.
Yeah, Jamel McMillan.
Yeah.
Bring him up.
Bring him up.
Bring him up. Can we call up coaches? Is that how the G League thing works? You can call up players. And also, why is Stanley Amude not getting called up? Like, if he's like convert him to like a 1-year deal. Like, he was shooting the ball when he was with us.
I feel like he's a decent player. Better than Kevin Knox.
Yeah,
hey, can I say something? Gabe, can you chill out on Kevin Knox, man? He's been pretty solid, man. Like when he's been back in, he hits his threes, man. He plays defense.
Not really.
Good. He is the guy that when he's wide open on a 3-point line will probably hit it, and that's the only positive impact he has on the game. Like
it's better than Livers missing wide open.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree, but that doesn't make him like good.
And how about this, Gabe? 4 for his last 9 in his last 5 games, Kevin. 4 games, Kevin Knox.
So he's
If
taken 9 threes in 5 games.
4 games, yes.
that's the only value he brings, and he's not good in any other way. He's fine for this Pistons team, but there's a reason we picked him up, and no other. We just picked him up. He was unsigned for a little while there.
You
Like
know, he
he
played
there
in
was a play, I think it was 2 games ago or the last game where he like pump faked and dribbled in for like a one dribble pull up, and I'm like, Kevin, no.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it went in or not. I just remember thinking, Kevin, no. But yeah, I'm okay with the shooting. I mean, it's better than Isaiah. Livers missing shots left and right and short and long. It's just terrible. The misses that we have are just terrible. Like I've never seen an NBA team airball more shots than this team.
Did you guys see that viral clip going around of us shooting around against the Nets
Yeah.
halftime where it was just like a 10-second clip of them recording the rim, just 1,000 misses.
No, I think the caption was Tom Gore's building houses in the community with bricks. Wasn't that what it was? Crazy, man. Like for those who didn't see it, it was just the Pistons all took a shot during the halftime break in Brooklyn, and not a single shot went in. And what made it worse is after all of those bounced off, Stu took a floater from right in front of the basket and it rimmed out.
Yeah, it was. No, it was, I mean, but that makes sense. Like that is an accurate depiction of how good this team is at shooting.
Yeah. Like you can't even make shots when no one's guarding you. Not a single soul is guarding you.
Yeah.
Just bad, man. Any other thoughts? Should we look ahead? Should we look ahead now? Not that there's much to look forward to.
There's some trades, right?
Oh yeah, we can circle back to the trades. So OG Anunoby, who we kind of touched on. So I guess you guys would be willing to part with Jaden Ivey. I don't know what else we could give, but Jaden Ivey, something for OG.
If it's a trade for OG, Toronto is notorious for having incredibly high demands in trades. I think you're throwing in another young piece and then a future pick.
That's what I was thinking.
He's a guy.
I'm not doing OG and SR. I'm not doing JI and SR or JI and JD. I'm not doing that.
A young piece doesn't count as JI and Killian or JI and Stu. That would have to be JI and SR realistically, I think.
I wouldn't trade. Yeah, I mean he's a free agent this year, right?
Is he just a free agent or an RFA? I forget.
I think he's a free.
I think he's free. Yeah, like I'd rather just throw a huge amount of money at him. I don't want all the way to the max, but if we trade for him and he leaves, I wouldn't want to stay on the Pistons if I'm traded here. He could just leave. Right? So I wouldn't trade assets for him. The guy I would trade assets for is Zach LaVine, because I do think he has basically no worth right now in the NBA. I think we could easily just pretty much contract match, throw in a few picks, bad picks at that, and then
he's making
Bulls
40
don't want
million.
him.
He's making 40 million though. Then he would have to be Bogey, Bagley, Wiseman. No, that's a little.
Wiseman makes 19.
Him and Bagley
17.
make the same. They're both 12.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we can. I think what I saw, I did Killian and Wiseman, and I think that was enough.
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, the other, I was listening to the Woodward's podcast that is on the Locked On podcast, Pistons podcast YouTube channel, and they talked a lot about how we need a guy that can hold down the fort when Cade's not on the floor, because that's when this team just utterly falls apart. We already talked about how bad the bench has been. And Zach,
but it's not like we're good when Cade is on the floor. We need a player who can also help him.
Yeah, exactly. You need a guy who can help him when he's on court, but also not let the lead slip to 20 when Cade's off of it. I guess Zach LaVine's that guy. It's just, man, I don't want to pay $40 million for Zach LaVine. I actually don't want to pay $40 million for anybody, but I'm just cheap by nature. Not even with my own money. I'm just cheap.
I'll let Tom Gores pay what he wants.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, he paid Monty what was it? 6 years, 78.5, something crazy like that. So I'll take it. We don't even know what Troy Weaver's making. He's probably sitting back and chilling. 27 game skid. I wonder if he gets incentives for every loss that we incur. That'd be crazy. But Connie, Valley, your thoughts on adding Zach LaVine?
I would love to add Zach LaVine. I think like Val said, his market is super low. Teams are not trying to get him. I don't think we're gonna have to give up a lot to get him, especially now that I think it helps out that the Bulls are better.
Yeah.
I think his value's really dropping in Chicago in their eyes. I think if we could buy low on Zach LaVine, I would love that. Just as another guy, I think him and Cade could actually be a pretty neat duo.
And I think like you can move that contract in the future. It's not like a albatross hanging over you. Like if he puts up like 28 again next season, you can move him if you want.
Like if he really balls out Stones, yeah.
So you're happy just theoretically just swapping Ivy for LaVine?
Yep.
Connie?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, what do you think about that?
I'm iffy on it. I don't want to make that trade right now. It just puts us right back where we were, what, 5 years ago?
Does it though?
I think it does. Like you're literally gonna be paying a guy a bajillion dollars, trading away a piece that could be a part of your future, unless it's like a Bagley, Wiseman, Killian swap. Like I don't want to trade Ivy for LaVine.
It's a one piece though, and it's not like we're after that like an aging team, right? Like you still have Cade, you still have Durant, you still have a star, you still have
That's
whatever
fair.
coming in this year. Like it's given up on maybe one guy, and I, I
I don't know. I just have PTSD. I mean, like I feel like every guy we give up comes back to bite us. And especially if you're going to be trading Ivy to an in-division team.
I think Ivy could maybe turn like, but is Ivy gonna reach his potential on this team with this system, this coach? Like, it seems like he's not.
Okay, but if you're trading Jaden Ivy, Zach LaVine is the best you think we could do?
Yeah.
I don't think Ivy has any worth right now. People are out on him. A lot of people are.
Possible.
I'm still not trading him for LaVine.
Yeah.
But we could also do like Killian, Wiseman, Bogey for LaVine.
If that worked.
I could live with that.
Yeah, but I don't know if we can successfully do that one.
I don't either, but I'm saying I could live with it.
But yeah, LaVine is
Bulls get off his money. That's the main thing they're trying to do. They're trying to get off his money.
It honestly might even be less than we think it is. Like
I don't think we need to include Bogey.
It might be a sort of like it might get so bad for him that it's like we got to give an asset to get off of this.
Don't.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite there yet, but
Okay, what about John Collins, the Woodward podcast?
No.
That's another. He's
a non-shooter.
Like, what's the difference between John Collins and Marvin Bagley? Like, really, what's the gap?
I think Bagley is taller because of the afro.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Now, Mark Hennon, if he is like even remotely available, I want as much I want to go down that road.
I think I would rather trade Ivy for Markkanen than I would.
Yeah, but I think we don't have enough to trade for him.
Teams lining up, but teams want to trade things for Markkanen. Like that's him and LaVine is that I bet OKC would dip into the stash a little bit, and I think should dip into the stash. OKC should go get. There's really no reason not to.
Markkanen would fit so well on that team because they already got a ton of tall dudes on that squad already that can shoot. Just adding Markkanen would just be the icing on top.
Are there any smaller names that you'd like on the team?
Is the guy I'd like back on this team.
I heard on the podcast P that he's one of the best NBA rappers.
Kelly Olynyk?
Yeah.
People
respect his rapping.
Not a surprise.
And that's super surprising, honestly. Kelly O, I like Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
I don't think they're moving him though.
Yeah. Who else?
Rod Beard said that Monte Morris still has value. So who? Oh yeah, on the Jazz.
He could shoot the three. Same thing with Sasha Vezenkov. I know the Kings just brought him in. They don't use him that crazy. I wouldn't mind him.
I mean, if we're picking on the Jazz, give me Ochai Abaji too.
Oh
I
yeah,
like coming out of the draft.
athletic.
Athletic, can shoot. Um, we can
Any
take your pick. There's pretty much anybody could help this team right
uh,
now.
Quentin Grimes. It seems like New York's a
Hmm.
little out on him. I'd love to.
Yeah, that's my number one small guy.
Malik Monk would be nice. Not that we can get him.
I think we need we need another I love a competent center. Uh,
A backup big would be really nice. Yeah.
Can we get Mark Williams to back up Jalen Duren? Like that's just perfect. That'd be the dream scenario.
the Hornets are doing that. The one
No.
trade thing that I just want to say that I don't think any of us want is please don't bring Miles Bridges to
Yeah,
Detroit.
I was just gonna bring it up.
Don't
I'm
bring
like,
it's a
if
last
this,
stock. It will be a fucking clown show if you bring
it
Miles.
would be, it would
And
be 100%. I think I may actually have to stop watching Pistons basketball if they acquire Miles Bridges. I think
Yeah.
that's where I draw the line. Like you can lose, you can go 2-80. I really don't care, but I would rather go 2-80 than have Miles Bridges on this team.
Agreed.
But God, I hope that doesn't happen. Why does he keep surfacing? Like Troy has been preaching ever since he got here. We may not get the player right, but we're gonna get the person right. And then ever since he got here, it's like, oh, Miles Bridges, Miles Bridges.
I think
Where Miles Bridges?
I think Troy's done a great job with that though, because look at us for like we love this team, they're great
Yeah,
guys. But man, they don't win basketball games. So, when you look at it like that, he's done a great job.
he's right. Yeah, no, we didn't get a lot of the players right, but we got the people right. We got the people right. Asar Thompson. Anyone seen any improvements from Asar, or has he kind of just been steady?
seems like most the same guy. His mid
Yeah.
okay.
I think he's improved on that like little in the lane turnaround jumper, which is a nice addition.
He's
Um,
useless in the bench squad where he's just used as a spacer pretty much, and he's not a spacer. Like he just stands there.
that
I
it's
still
also
think
yeah.
I still think he should start the four against smaller teams, and we don't go too big, and we bring Stu off the bench, and then we don't have to see Wiseman. Like still think Asar is a good player with spacing around him.
He's just he's so much more effective playing with the starters. It's so much
Yeah.
more sense playing with
Yeah.
Cade, one guy that actually makes passes. There's so many times on that second unit. This is another reason I hate Alec Burks. He'll be like the outlet goes to Alec Burks. The Star Thompson is streaking down the lane, and I feel like to this point we figured out throw the ball anywhere near the hoop. He's gonna like that's one thing he's got. He may not be able to shoot, but he can jump higher than the other team, and he's gonna go up and get it. And it was like one specific possession where he was like wide open for the lob, and Alec Burks wing 3-pointer, bricks it, and they go down the other way. He just needs to be playing out there with guys that are going to make those quick passes and are actually going to look for him. And I think those two guys are Duran, one, I think is going to look for him on those little inside passes, and obviously Cade is going to look for him.
And I think we need Killian Hayes back just for the fact that we had Alec Burks initiating the offense last game.
So,
Dude, Alec Burks was so good last year. Last year, I loved Alec Burks last year.
I did too. He's just missing shots now for no reason. Like I don't know if it's age or what. But
what's up with him laughing after losing last time out against Brooklyn after the game? Did you guys see that?
no.
He just started laughing, like he was just smiling and being all giddy with the Nets players after the game.
Which is fine. It's
A lot
not
of
that,
people were disgruntled about that.
but like
One thing to look forward to tonight, as our boy Mike Curtis confirmed, Killian Hayes will play tonight.
He
Which
said that like the last 3 games.
no, but this time it's confirmed.
Oh, like
Which would hopefully move Alec Burks out of the rotation. I think it will, and we can run Killian
No, it won't.
as the backup unit. I hope it does. If it doesn't, this is an official claim to get Joe Harris more minutes. Swear the guy just
Yeah.
knows how to play good basketball. And I swear he doesn't get shooting opportunities, but if he'll get some, obviously he'll knock him down.
Yeah, I'd rather have Joe Harrison right now than Alec Burks. Alec Burks needs to, I don't know. Sometimes you just need to like put the basketball down and enjoy a sunset for a couple of days and then come back. And I think that's what Alec Burks needs. Like a shooter can always shoot, but he's not making the shots. So maybe he just needs to take a break from the game and come back. I don't know.
Maybe he
But
just really wants to leave.
I
Yeah,
think that's more likely. I think
I
that's more
think if
likely.
you put him on a different team, he starts playing a lot better.
Yeah, no, that's usually the case. But this trade dead, you know what the worst part is? This team's probably gonna get like it's gonna get worse come February. Like the guys that we rely on for baskets right now, besides Cade, are gonna be gone. So I don't know who we get in return for Bogey. I don't know who we get in return for Alec Burks. If anything, it may just be picks for both of them. But there's no end in sight right now. But any other notes on the 27 game losing streak or any of its players before we take a brief look ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I asked this in the chat, but I just want to quickly go around and just give me a number. How many in a row are we losing? I'll start 47.
You went up one. You said 46 in the chat.
Oh,
I'll go I'll stay optimistic. I'll say 27. We're gonna win today.
we play Boston, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Gabe.
I'll stand with my prediction that we'll beat the Spurs January 5th. I don't know how many games that brings us to, 29 or 30 or something.
And Connie.
I'm gonna say 35.
Rather optimistic, guys.
I said 33 in the chat, but I mean, I don't want to say we're gonna go 2-80. I really don't, but anything's possible at this point. Like I didn't think it was possible that we could lose this many games, and here we are.
I think we might beat the Raptors. Just saying, they suck.
Possible. Oh, who's starting today, guys? Who's starting? Oh no,
Is
Gabe, you're
Killian Hayes
gonna love.
starting?
No, Gabe, you're
What?
gonna love. Gabe is gonna have a ball with this one.
Kevin Knox.
Kate Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Kevin Knox the second, Boyan Bogdanovic, and Jalen Duren are our starters tonight.
Yeah.
No, Stu. Yeah, I guess.
Wow.
Kevin Knox, Mr. Fortnite. Let's go.
Honestly,
Wow.
wait, is Stu playing or is he out?
Out.
Oh, well then never mind.
Well, okay, before we start wallowing in our own self pity here, if we haven't already, looking ahead at the current week, we got Boston in Boston, then we got the Raptors in Detroit. We open up the new year against the Rockets on January 1st, and we close out. Well, that's basically this week, and then we go to Utah, and they're probably not going to sit half their roster again. So, do we beat the Gabe kind of already hinted at his answer, but do we end the streak against the Celtics, Raptors, or Rockets?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Gabe, you still holding out hope for the Raptors game, or are you out?
No, I can't. I have no hope for any game until we win the game, and then I can, then we can start talking about some stuff again.
Until it
When we
happens.
do an emergency pod after a win, y'all better come in here like hella energy because you're so down right now.
I'll be so amped up when they get it done.
Oh my god! And then we're gonna lose the next game. We're gonna be back to reality. It's gonna be great. I hope we beat the Rockets. I think that would also be a nice story.
Is it out of the realm of possibility to go 2-80?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you just got to take it one game at a time.
Like, isn't it like just take a step back and think about this? We've lost 27 consecutive games this season. And Connor, you said 32 going back to last year,
I
right?
think it was no, sorry. I thought it was 32 was the all-time losing record, like through 2 seasons, but it's only 28.
Oh, okay. So we can break that tonight.
We can tie it tonight. We can
Oh, we
tie
can
the
tie.
all-time NBA losing streak record, and we can break it in the next one, and that
And
never go away. And every time Somebody looks up the worst teams ever and the worst records in the season has gone through. Every time a team has a really bad year, and they're going to be like, "Oh, who do they compare to?" It's like this is the worst team since the 2023-24 Detroit Pistons, but no one's going to be worse than that team. This is going to live in infamy in the record books. Every time somebody talks about a terrible team, uh, and that kind of sucks.
It does. It does. Connie, you got a crystal ball or hater of the week?
Hater, I don't know why, man, but my crystal ball is telling me I gotta revise my prediction. Just now that you said it, my crystal ball is telling me there's a dub coming this week.
Ooh, okay. All right.
It's gonna be behind a massive performance by the four guys of Cade, Ivy, Duran, and Stu. Cade, Ivy, Duran, and Bogey are all gonna have a big game together this week, and it will be a W.
I got like a little smaller crystal ball that's next to Connie, you know. Kevin Knox goes for 20 plus tonight. Points at the camera and laughs at Gabe after hitting his fourth three-pointer.
Right?
After cutting the lead down to 24.
Makes sense.
It's a huge bang! And cover the spread.
Mercy! Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. Any other notes before we get out of here? Any come on, bro moments? I mean, this whole season has been a come on.
Those last two possessions, those last two turnovers when the Pistons.
No. There's only one come on, bro moment, man.
What?
It's when Cade Cunningham makes 4 consecutive layups, Monty Williams calls timeout, and we get an Alec Burks heave 3-pointer. Close out the game against the Brooklyn Nets. The
Come on, bro!
Most losses of all time. That's my come on, bro moment. Come on, Alec Burks. Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
Gabe, you got one?
Yeah, throwing the ball at Stewart's head. And then him throwing it out of bounds over Stewart. And then
those happen back to back. He throws the ball over whoever's head it was, and then he comes off, calls an audible, and shoots over 2 defenders for a 3. Man, just trying to get benched.
He doesn't contain the drive on the last possession, and Cade helps, and DFS hits that corner 3 to ice the game.
I had one
Alec Burks appreciation pod
that I really come on broed at. Like, I actually groaned when it happened. I beat his man off the dribble, and the moment drive, James Wiseman posted up. Like the moment he started the drive, James Wiseman posted up right in front of Ivy, almost like James Wiseman was the help defender, and he locked down an Ivy drive. It was incredible.
Come on,
he closed that lane up. So that was the fastest I've ever seen James Wiseman move on defense. It was awesome.
So we're so talented, we're guarding ourselves.
Yeah,
that's great. Any other notes before we check out loss number 28 in about 22 minutes?
Oh, man. I can't wait till after this game when we hear about a good practice. Good hard practice. Good food. The guys they were smiling. They were chuckling it up at shoot around. The vibes are great on this team.
Wait, hold on. Tomorrow's Friday, man. Like, if they show up to practice tomorrow, we should really give them a round of applause.
Yeah, what if they practice on the weekend? Oh, if they practice on the weekend, we might as well hang a fucking
What
banner.
if they started practicing before 9 a.m.?
Oh, I hope.
Come on, the guys need their sleep.
I hope we see.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
That's breakfast time, man.
Last year, where after the game, they're just like in the arena doing workouts in front of the press, like the Suns did last year. Like the grind never stops, and they're living.
Or shooting free throws after you lose a game because you missed like 7 free throws during the game. That would be.
Or just Alec Burks clanking 3-pointers for the game because he clanked 3-pointers during the game. Yeah, a lot to look forward to. A lot of media.
A lot of media. Well, let's hope the Pistons can make at least one shot in warm-ups today, and hopefully we'll be back with you guys. But we probably won't talk to you guys until after the New Year. So happy New Year, happy losing streak. And until next time, throw the Buffs on, Detroit. The New Year is bright.
Oh, it's not.